Voice crack on the snap. Cousins doesn't matter over the middle. Ham is going to be just short.
All right, guys, we're going to dive into the Vikings playbook. Hope you enjoy the content. This series of videos that I plan on dropping in regards to this is really just to showcase to you how you can really build a scheme around any playbook. Like, I could have picked any playbook and built a scheme. It would just be a little bit different because it's a different playbook, a different variety of different things. Okay. But this is how I do it. And then maybe upon you watching this or the series of videos I plan on dropping for this, you can kind of see just my perspective on how I do it, and then you can start doing it from your playbooks or whatever you want to do. Or maybe you want to pick up this playbook and start running this stuff. I was highly surprised at how creative this playbook is. So, I decided to, give it a shot, and now I'm building a scheme with it. Okay. For those of you who don't know, I did build a scheme on the Raiders playbook. I think I have about 26 videos made on that, 9 hours worth of content. You can check that out by joining the membership. It's $5 a month. Strategically, what you can do is you could join and then just immediately unsubscribe, and you would have a full month of access, right? So then you can actually get all the information that you need and then just retain that information, and then you only pay $5 for it, So for those of you who decided to stay in that membership despite my hiatus after the first 26 batch of videos, I do plan on dropping some more stuff on the Raiders playbook, and then I might jump into another playbook after this Viking series later on whenever I find a lot of time to put in that work. Okay, so without further ado, let's just get into this Vikings playbook. I was highly surprised at how efficient you can be in this offense. And we're going to start with Singleback Bunch X Nasty. Okay, now what that means right there, this is progression, this is coverage. Don't worry about this right now. This is 422031. If you've been to my channel, I guarantee within the first couple of videos that you watched, you've heard that numerical sequence over and over again. Basically, every single defense in the game, it's one of these 6 different shell coverages. So we've condensed 4,000 different defensive plays. I don't know how much it is, but we've condensed it down to one of 6 different plays. It makes it easier to understand where to attack, the weaknesses and strengths, and that type of deal. Okay, so whatever defense you play, it's a variant of one of these 6. Okay, so the first play we're going to go over is PA boot, and to my surprise, we're also going to go over a second play called PA boot corner post in this video. So what does progression and coverage mean? Why don't I get to the next slide and we can get right into that. Okay, so the dynamics of this play is it's a play action. Okay, so he's going to roll out this way. Okay, so we're faking like an inside zone weak handoff. There he is. Going to run the corner, and he's going to run like an over pattern here. Okay, so this is a progression read play. Okay, so what's a coverage type of replay? Now you can make it however you want, but the way I run this stuff with this formation, a lot of it's progression. Okay, and for those of you who aren't good at pre and post snap reading, this is where you want to be. If you want to build an offense and you're not very good at reading the defense, you want to run a lot of progression read type plays. Okay, and that's what I've noticed so far in my running this scheme with the Vikings. I've ran into a lot of progression replays, so this may be able to help a lot of you guys out if you have trouble reading defenses. The beauty of this play, okay, is that this is good against any coverage, right? So that's gold. When you find an offensive play that can attack any coverage and it's a progression replay, you really can't go wrong with this play. Okay, so a coverage replay, again, like let's say, hey, it's a coverage replay. If you get double high, you need to read the second defender in, and you're going to key off of that defender. If he plays low, you hit this guy. If he plays high, you hit this guy, that type of deal. That's more like coverage reading type of stuff. Progression reading is you're not really concerned with what the defense is doing per se. You're really just going through your progression, right? So the progression read on this play is 1 to 2 to 3. Okay, now what's unique about this play, you really can tag it however you want. I mean, you could potentially do it this way. 1, 2, 3, but I think it's just more beneficial to do it what I have in white, because you don't want to miss this guy. If you're reading 3 to 2 and then both of those are not open, you look for 1, it might be a little bit late. He's out in his break. Okay, so I'll show you this. At first, when I looked at this play, it's like a flood concept, right? Because you have a low, middle, and a high, and our tight end's blocking, so we get 6-man protection here. Okay, so looking at it, I thought this play would be great against single high, and that's it. But to my surprise, it's great against every single coverage in the game. So here I snap the ball, get our play action, and again, we're reading 1. So right away, we see, you can throw that. Me, I get a little, I like to attack deep. So if 1's open and I'm not getting pressure, I like to look for 2, right? To see if he pops open. I like to read this defender. So the coverage read in me, no matter what, it just stays with me, right? Because I'm a coverage read guy. But you guys can play progression read in this, and you could have already thrown this ball. Okay, but with this play, you can look for the second defender in against single high, and if he stays under, that's where this window is wide open. Why is that open? It's because the corner is driving that deep third player out of there, right? So we rip it in there. Now in the case where that second defender in stays in that window, okay, that's where you would dump it underneath. So here this is against cover 1, snap the ball, 1, you would immediately throw this, and we see how we out leverage the man inside, right? So you would throw that right away. Here I threw the 2, just to showcase that, I'm more of a coverage read guy. So I was, hey, this is single high beating type of play. So I have my single high beating play that I'm going to start with this scheme with. But then when I checked it out against 2-man, right, I see that it's good against that as well. Again, we read 1 to 2 to 3. I believe this is 2 zone, right? 1 to 2 to 3. We throw 1. I believe this is cover 4 match. Again, 1, don't like it, right? 2, yeah, we like it. Wide open, right? And there's reasons for that. With the cover 4 on that side, when they're boxing this on this side of the field, okay, he's taking first out, he's taking first in, he's taking first deep in, he's taking first deep out, right? Well, this corner pattern takes both of these defenders, so it gets bracketed. He takes the first out, right? This is our whip here. And this guy stays in the block, right? So he has no one coming in. The problem is this guy is behind this player. He really can't see what's going on, and he just crosses right into the void here against cover 4, right? Which is why it's just devastating against certain cover 4s, right? So when I think of it, I think what you would probably have to run to stop this, maybe a cover 9 steal type of coverage, but yeah, I'm not going to get into that. So this is against cover 0, right? So I'm like, wow, this works against every single shell coverage. That's 5 out of 6. Let's check it out against 0. And right away, 1 is wide open, right? So you got to beware against cover 0. You kind of, it depends on the type of front and etc. So, you run into a specific front to where your protection can't hold up, then yeah, that's when you check out into a play that is good against cover 0, right? But this play is sufficient against it. So we see 4-2-2-0-3-1, it checks out each and every box, which is incredible. So now again, what can an opponent do? Well, he could be playing a specific coverage and make certain adjustments in the coverage to put a stop to this play if you're running it too many times, right? That's what adjusting coverages is all about. So this is a great play to be running where you mix and match it. Sometimes you run it, sometimes you don't. Every other 7 plays you run it, so they can never know that you're running it. So no matter what, they can't make the specific adjustment to stop it because you might be running another play that exploits them, right? Now here's one key. What if we're running this play, okay, and my opponent wants to stay in single high, and he's sick and tired of me running this coverage, and he knows that we're just high-lowing and flooding this side of the field? What can he do? Well, you really can't do nothing with cover 3 on this side, right? But what they can do, which is not something that I would advise, right, is what if they take that deep middle safety and now they add to the coverage. So they steal that deep middle safety, and now, that deep third who's being run off by the corner, he has outside leverage on that. We can have this guy pinned down on the underneath route, and now that deep third safety can overtake our route. And this is what I mean by players getting tired of you running this play, so then they make an adjustment to the back end of the coverage or to someone underneath that kind of manipulates the coverage to where it kind of messes with the structure, but it's great against that specific play because they're stealing coverage from somewhere else. And I ran into an opponent that did that. I think I was running this play maybe 4 or 5 times, 6 times, and he got tired of me running it. And this is what I like to do when I build a scheme. The first couple of plays that I run, I'll just run it over and over and over and over again because I want to see how opponents adjust to it. And then as I add more plays to the playbook, then we start building on attacking where they manipulate their coverage. Forgot what it's called. I think it's called constraint theory. Okay. So anyways, what can we do if an opponent actually does that? And I ran into an opponent that actually does it. Well, he actually did it. And I was shocked. I was like, okay, this is it. He's doing it, right? I was running this play, PA boot. He was tired of it, and he wanted to stay in single high. So the only thing he could really do is take the deep middle safety and cover 3 and do exactly what I just showed you. So what do? Well, that's what PA boot corner post is for. Snap the ball. Got him. You see that? So with this play, minor adjustment. This guy does his thing. Guy comes over on the over pattern. But remember that corner route that we had? Well, now he fakes the corner, and now he's running to the post. So that attacks that deep middle area that an opponent may, if he feels that this is coming and he wants to stay in single high and he takes that deep middle safety in cover 1 or cover 3, he decides to overplay that over pattern. Well, now we can punish him with this throw right here. Unfortunately, we have the Justin Fields throwing that ball, and I got hit right when I threw it because the offensive line of the Bears is pretty damn terrible. Okay, so I was pretty pissed. I hate that when you do everything right, perfect, right? I knew it was coming, and then that's when I checked in the PA boot corner post. So that's what this video is about, PA boot and PA boot corner post. Actually 2 plays in one video, right? Because it's pretty much the same, but what's changed is this route right here, right? So I want to flip it over to an actual game where the Vikings played against the Colts, and they made that miraculous comeback, and they ran this same type of route with an over pattern from a different formation, and I would assume that they were trying to attack the deep middle safety, and we can watch what happened. All right, guys, so they motion the tight end over to here. As you see, I got it right at the snap of the ball. He's going to snap. It's going to be a play action here. Okay, and I believe he rolls this way. And what we have, you see the reduced split with this receiver. He's going to come over on this little over pattern. And I think he runs like a little hitch pattern or stop or whatever. Main point is, see they're in single high. And he's going to run, extend like to the corner, and he's supposed to come over towards the middle of the field with the post. But you're going to see, I think this is Rager here. You'll see that he just stops on the route. And this is why this is an interception. But the whole point is you see what they're trying to do with the play action, the over pattern. Maybe this guy, they were watching tape on this guy when they played this particular scheme and they ran something before. He was being a little antsy inside. So, they run this little route at him. Okay. So, yeah, he's playing it very well, right? He's slightly inside. But, no matter what, you still want to kind of run this out. Maybe, you can flatten the ball, I would assume, to kind of throw it kind of open. I don't know, but I know one thing. You don't just quit on the route, as you see there, which is horrible. So the whole point is to understand the scheme here. And I watched a video where a guy went over this towards the end here. Look at that. He just quit. Look at look at our head coach there. He's pissed. Okay, so let's watch some more of me playing against online opponents. This is PA boot corner post. And, this play you can run. Again, now the read is pretty much the same. This is why I like 1, 2, and then 3 on the corner, right? Because if you have the corner, I like that. Because if you change to PA boot corner post, well, you can make the same reads, 1 to 2 to to the corner post, right? So that's why I think that tagging it this way with the progression is superior to tagging corner first over second under 3, right? Because when you switch over to PA boot corner post, you know, you really don't want to read that boot corner post first, right? So now your progression flops, you know, and maybe that's just not a good idea. So 1 to 2, I throw the 2, and there it is. Next guy, he's in single high, but again, we really don't care what's going on here, right? 1, could have threw 1, I threw 2, there it is. It's just so hard, like when you're in man-to-man coverage, as we saw there, the problem with a man-to-man defender defending this over pattern is, well, obviously he doesn't know what route you're running, but because we reduce the split, that's what bunch X nasty is. He's in a nasty split, right? As opposed to being out here, we've reduced his split closer to the LOS. Well, now when you're out here, you know, if you take an outside release, they can eliminate a lot of the different routes that you can run. You're not running an in pattern. You're not running like a, you know, drag pattern, right? You're pretty much only running a go pattern or a comeback pattern. You're not running a corner pattern, right? Just not enough space. That's why when you reduce your split, well, now you can run a 3-way go. You can run in, you can run up, you can run out, and everything in the route tree is available. So it's just harder to defend as a man-to-man defender inside, right? So, you know, that's my logic on why that over pattern just consistently gets open against man-to-man coverage. Now, against 2-man, you may have issues with this play if you don't have a receiver that can get separation with the defender here, right? So you want your best receiver at the X here, okay? Because a lot of times you're running your concepts on this side of the field, and on the single receiver side, that's where you put your best receiver. If you watch the Raiders, pretty much every team, I would assume, you know, if they're running like a trips formation, they put their best receiver on the single receiver side. The reason why you do that is because if the defense decides to overload the defense to defend, you know, the more threats on this side of the field, you get more one-on-one coverage over here, then that's when your guy can work, right? But if he starts working on that guy and now they have to double that guy, right? They start overloading coverages this way. Well, now you have less defenders to defend against, you know, 3 receiver set and trips and etc. or bunch, whatever the case may be. And a lot of times when you're running concepts, you know, you're really attacking like zone coverage, man coverage as well, right? But when you're high, low end defenders, it's not like you have to be the greatest route runner in the world, right? So for example, if you have a cover 2 corner over here and we are running, let's say smash, okay, this guy, and we have a receiver here running the corner pattern. Okay, it's not like this guy has to be the best route runner in the world to run a hitch, right? Because we're just reading this corner. If he drives on the hitch, we throw the corner. If he stays in the window of the corner, we throw the hitch, right? So, you know, it's not like you have to be Marvin Harrison in his prime to run this route, right? So you run the smash on this side. But on the single receiver side, let's say it's one-on-one coverage. Well, this is where you would need a receiver who can actually run a decent route because you're man-to-man, right? If you are running a dig pattern and you run your route like shit, this guy's going to read that and be able to shut that down. That's where route running is really important in man-to-man coverage, right? I'm not going to say it's not important in zone because there's nuances and where to turn into the window and all that, right? But, you know, just a little caveat to why in trips formations, you know, you really want to put your best receiver on the single receiver side. So there again, 1 to 2 to 3. I think I was running PA boot corner post there. Here I run it again, right? 1. Don't like it. You see how he's hanging underneath this? I probably was running it against this guy like all game, I think. We're going to do that. And then we just throw it right to number 2, right? Again. 1. No. 2. There it is. And again, we see that how that corner pattern took out the guy up top, right? So again, this is more of a flood type deal. And this is more of a, you know, when they decide to overplay that corner pattern, or maybe they're driving the safety down to play that over pattern, you know, then we can attack by hit them with the double move there. Okay, so Here again, progression read, and this is what's great about these two plays, man. I mean, you can run it against anything. Cover 4 or variants of cover 4, 2-zone, 2-man, cover 0, cover 3, or cover 1. So these are great plays that we're starting the scheme with. And obviously we're going to build on the scheme. I believe the next video I'm going to give is on the actual running plays that we can add to the scheme. Now, why would we want to do that? We really, you see how we get this play action with this play. Well, we want to make sure that we actually pose a threat where it can actually be a run, right? So this is where we're going to start with inside zone going this way, outside zone going this way. So at the snap of the ball, when we do run this play, there is a threat that we could hand it off, right? So, we want linebackers to kind of jump this action here. Maybe the user steps in for this action here. We want to just put them in a world of hurt right at the snap of the ball. So I'll leave it at that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you look forward to the series. Hopefully you gain a perspective on how I build schemes, and then maybe you can do the same thing with what you do with your playbooks.